Spinning wheel, got to go round. Talking about your troubles, it's a crying sin. Catch a painted pony, let the spinning wheel spin.
Yeah, that's right. You're listening to Lone Star Internet Radio. It's Aperture and Shutter Speed with me, trmorephotos.com. Howdy, Tom.
How are you doing?
Doing good, doing good. I'm glad I'm here. It's 3:06 o'clock right now. You're listening to Aperture and Shutter Speed. We're here every Wednesday at 3 o'clock. Make sure to check us out on Facebook, like us, and then we can start posting our favorite photos and sharing all that good stuff. We're a photography and film show for Montgomery County and also for the world, of course. But we're here to talk photography and film. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, there's different ways you can contact us. Like I said, we're on Facebook. We also have a call-in line that you can call in right now, 936-647-3776, 936-647-3776. We're on every Wednesday at 3 o'clock. Right, Tom?
That's it.
So we've been talking about this month, February, of course, the romantic time, is weddings. So that we're going to wrap up today's show. Today's a wrap-up show, kind of going over what we've been doing for the past couple of weeks, covering the aspects of getting ready for a photo shoot, during the photo shoot, how to handle the personal crisis. Because what's funny about a photographer, it's not just the camera you're using to take pictures, it's also the people you're taking pictures of. Mm-hmm. So it's always nice to be considerate, and it's always nice to plan ahead, especially when you're dealing with people who are under stress during an event like a wedding. So we would cover different things. My favorite so far has been Tom's personal experiences with bridezillas, and also siblings of the bridezilla, and then just what to do.
But I have had some good experiences.
Oh yeah, I think Tom just upsets everybody. People might think Tom's a weird guy or a mean guy from all these scenarios.
I am.
So yeah, the most impersonal photographer there is. It's trmorephotos.com. No,
I carry a bag of rocks when I go to these weddings, and I throw them.
I'm like, there's no such thing as love. And then you take pictures of it. But yeah, so we're going to be wrapping it up. We're going to do a scenario wrap up for our second segment. And of course, for our third, it's pretty important. We're going to be talking about after the photo shoot. What do you do with your photos? How do you handle? How do you manage your photos? How do you send them out? How do you print them? How do you store them? How do you back them up? All that good stuff. Because, weddings, it's funny because weddings, you shoot a lot of photos in today's digital world. Back in the day, I can understand why photographers charge so much. Because you're literally paying for their film. Film's expensive. But now in the digital world, you can take 2,000 photos and nothing. And what's great is the photographers still charge the same. No one's ever caught on to that, which is interesting.
Or more.
Yeah, because people can shout out some money for some photographers. But
wedding especially.
Yes. And so we're going to be talking about what to do after the wedding, how to handle your photos, how to send them to them. What's the proper way to deal with the client. And most importantly, how do you back it up and protect your photos? Because, that's something they all care about. They're like, they'll keep calling you if you don't call them.
Very passionate about it.
Very passionate. And then we'll also end the show today about what's going on for the month of March.
Yeah, and before we get into that, I would like
That's the fourth segment. We have a lot of before.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, good.
Before we get into that, I would just like to say I did do a video with Dick.
Yeah.
We did an interview with him last Thursday.
We need to post that.
It was really cool.
Where can I post that?
The skin tone is awesome. His eyes, he doesn't look like a raccoon. And he just speaks.
I never looked
really
like a
well.
raccoon.
No, but if the lighting is wrong, you get these shadows, in the eyes.
Well, that's actually
you get that raccoon look.
We can't talk about what's going on next week. Next month.
No.
Because that has something to do with that. That has something to do with next month.
I'm very
You got to be careful when you do that kind of stuff. But yeah, we did that. That was fun in the Lone Star Studios, and so far so good.
And if you see it, it's totally unrehearsed. I just came in with my camera. He was real responsive, and we took about 5 takes, and then we got it nailed.
I will tell the listeners, if you're interviewing anybody, make sure they eat, because if they haven't eaten, they'll become agitated. And I was getting there.
Oh, he was very difficult to work with.
I was getting there, and I'm like, I'm a fool that I didn't eat.
Yeah, when the camera was off, he was like throwing things.
He
threw his coffee mug at the window, and there were people were looking in.
Room temperature
it was
coffee.
Amazing.
What is this, Tom? No, but no, it's just because you're sitting there trying to focus, and then you're hungry, and never go into an interview without.
But
eating
every time
food.
I talk to you, you want to eat. I mean, you're just like ravenous.
What's
You
wrong
want
with
to eat
eating
all
the
the time?
I want to eat all the time.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, so today's show is gonna be a lot of fun. We got I guess with the weddings, to close up my thoughts on weddings as an amateur photographer, I enjoy going as a spectator and shooting, and not being the person who has the pressure.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna say that your days of being an amateur photographer are very limited.
No, I believe it. I just need to get a better camera. That's what I need to do.
Well, I've got the cameras better.
So, but definitely when you're shooting as an amateur during these events, you really do have a great opportunity to get some fun shots. I think the most fun shots I have were during a wedding when people are dancing, and especially if you got that's a perfect opportunity to buy a flash, because what's really cool about weddings, there's different areas they go to. So you have the ceremony, and then you have the rehearsal, and then some people had the rehearsal and then they have a dance floor that might be outside or inside. There's so many different atmospheres that you could shoot photos in. It's really cool because I know some weddings, like one wedding I went to was at this, people have these extravagant houses, but they had a garden. And so I just wandered off. I just went into the garden and started taking nature photography. And you wouldn't know, if I showed you the portfolio, the pictures, you wouldn't know I was at a wedding because I wasn't in the wedding. I was just walking around shooting photos. So even if you're dreading to go to the wedding, and that's the greatest thing about having a camera, it's an excuse to do something.
Yeah, you can ignore people.
So
real
you can just
easy.
go, I'm taking photos. Shut
Yeah, don't talk.
Yeah, and like I said, from the amateur perspective, a wedding is a great opportunity to learn how to use your camera, how to adapt to the lighting scenarios, and especially learning the mechanics of your camera, because the quicker you learn it, the quicker you can take shots on the go.
And let me just suggest, it's really a good idea to get up close to your subject, even 2.5 feet, and get some real close, intimate shots. Shots of the bouquet, or shots of the gal's ring, or the guy and the gal holding hands. Just like you're talking about being in a garden environment. Well, you can take some of those photos of flowers and you can integrate that into their album, and that just becomes another dimension of the wedding itself, and getting some really beautiful shots that way. So,
and what's funny is, don't be afraid. I would say don't be afraid to be the weird guy, because I know, and one time we were at this, I would say it reminded me of a plantation home. That's what it reminded me of, and they had high ceilings, and then what was neat is they had these type of lights that were directional. So I would move some of the bouquets underneath the light, and it created this really cool silhouette. Like it was just the pot was glowing, and just the table around it was dark. So it created this really cool effect. And
artistic.
Yeah, and because you're learning about light and how to capture that, because you can overexpose it and you see light everywhere, or you can underexpose it and you kind of give it this spooky orange look on the plant. It looks like almost like the plant is just glowing with life, but everything around it is not there.
Starts looking predatory.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
It's like to eat your arm. No, but you just brought up a very interesting issue, is that what do you do in an environment where the ceilings are 15 feet high and maybe the ceiling is black,
a flash won't,
and there's no bounce at all?
Yeah.
And that's a big problem. I'll tell you what you do.
You buy a $10,000 camera.
You can do that. But you can also buy what's called a Gary Wiltfong.
I'm looking it up.
It's a light sphere, and
I know what you're talking about.
it throws the light around in all directions.
Yeah, those are neat. Little globes that go on top of your flash.
Globe, and it has a dome that goes over it. And you can put different domes for different intensities, and you never have to worry about that issue of not having a ceiling to bounce off of. It's really cool to have a white wall if you want to
bounce it directly.
Bounce it off the wall onto your subject. That's always a really good. And just turn the head of your speed light into the wall and just bounce it off, and that way you don't have to worry about making your subject go blind or getting complaints.
Yeah.
But don't bounce it off of something red or blue, because it's going to cast a blue shadow on them and it'll be an issue. So use a white wall.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ones out there. I mean, you just type in keywords like diffuser or globe or flash muzzle, and there's so many different types of products you can use. I've even seen people where they literally got a cardboard, cut it out, and rubber band it around the deal, and that way they can just, when they take the photo, I kid you not, they would put their back of their hand on the back end of the flash, and they would bend the cardboard forward with their fingers, and they would take the photo that way.
Yeah.
And that's, depending on who he was taking pictures of, that's how he would range it. If it was kids, if it was tall people, and like, it was really interesting seeing him do that. And I was like, yeah, he's like, this just allows me more flexibility when I want to control my light. And I'm like, okay. Well, I think they make like $4 diffusers. But
no, that was Gary Fong. I said Wilt Fong. I used to have a friend named Wilt Fong. It's Fong.
Confused. I was like, well, I'm talking about
Gary Fong.
But no, I think, like I said, in weddings, we're gonna continue talking about this in our next segment, just about the opportunities weddings do present as a photographer. I mean, I think if I ever met another person who's interested in photography, I'm like, this is the perfect time. Like, you get, and plus you get to eat. So, you know me, I like to eat. So I'm like, I'm just going to go shoot for 2 hours and then come back and eat some delicious food and, maybe clap my hands a couple times. Maybe grab a mic because I like to talk and say I love you. Thanks for the photography opportunity, the photo shoot. Thanks for that.
Food.
Yeah, thanks for the food and giving me this time. But, when we get back, we're going to do our scenario wrap-up. I know Tom has some real personal scenarios, and we'll talk about the best of, like what to remember, especially about contracts and things like that, and model releases and all the good stuff. But yeah, you're listening to Aperture and Shutter Speed. We're here every Wednesday. Don't think we're going away. We'll be back. We got you. You're stuck with us till 4 o'clock on Lone Star Internet Radio.
Don't touch that dial.
Yeah, dial, mouse, however you want to talk about it.
Narrow highway, and would you mind reflecting inside?
Hello, this is Dennis Nelson, inviting you to come with me through the doorway of imagination and into the theater of the mind. The Players Theater Company Old Time Radio Hour presents a play every Saturday night at 7 p.m. on Lone Star Internet Radio. Be it drama or comedy, thriller or love story, every exciting episode is carefully chosen straight from the golden age of radio and performed live by talented actors, musicians, and sound effects crew. Every sound you hear will be 100% live and homemade. Anything can happen. So join us, please, every Saturday night at 7 p.m. for the Players Theater Company Old Time Radio Hour, right here on Lone Star Internet Radio.
Lone Star Family Health Center is a state-of-the-art nonprofit medical facility serving Montgomery County and surrounding areas. From infants to seniors, women's health to education and nutrition, Lone Star Family Health Center is here for you. We accept most major medical insurance, Medicare, Medicaid, and have low-cost self-pay options available. Lone Star Family Health Center also offers caring adult and pediatric dentistry. Lone Star Family Health Center, quality health care for everyone, off South Loop 336, just west of Conroe Regional Medical Center.
And show you the colors that are real.
We are back, and you're listening to Aperture and Shutter Speed with your host, Tom Moore of TR Moore Photos and...
Me, Dick. Yay.
Yay.
Yay. But yeah, welcome back. You're listening to Montgomery County's photography and film show. And trmorephotos.com to my left, or if you're listening to us, he's the other voice. He's the professional, and then I'm the amateur. So we teach each other stuff every day.
The cool thing about this show is that it's not depressing like most.
Yeah, but we don't talk. Well, I guess
we don't talk about depressing things.
We could talk about politics because politics bring a lot of money to photographers.
That will really make me depressed.
No, it brings a lot of money to photographers.
Yeah, well,
shooting that stuff.
Yeah.
You ever done a stakeout, Tom?
No.
Oh, we should do a show about stakeouts. Let's do it. So, okay, if you're listening and you want us to stake somebody out, we'll do it pro bono for the show. We're talking like 3 hours, 4 hours. We're hanging out, but maybe you got to pay for the food because that's like a classic thing for dudes. It's like, why do you have 15,000 cigarettes at this one spot? Oh, because I've been here for a while. You know what I'm talking about? When the officer comes out, and there's like like a pile of ash or something like that.
Yeah.
We call in 936-647-3776 and be our next stakeout sponsor.
That sounds like a Casablanca.
Yeah, we can.
shot.
I mean, especially with political season, man, we could do it. But we have like 5 days to ruin someone's career.
Oh, we could do it. We could do that. Yeah. Make up a bunch of stuff.
What we could do.
We can Photoshop.
No, that's what we'll do. For the next show, we're going to have our dream set up for Stakeout. Man, that's so great. We might even watch the movie Stakeout. But we'll talk about our dream equipment. Like, what do you need to stake somebody out? Because
GoPros.
Well, yeah. Well, that's if you know where they are, but you can't really. You need at least 300 millimeter Canon. You need at least that.
Yeah.
And then, we're not talking sound. We could talk sound. We'll bring the sound into it because everyone is always interested, especially like in the NFL. They have like those domed sounds and how the people shoot that. I mean, very similar to sports photography. Do you think those guys shoot sport photography all the time? No way. They're spying on your wife. That's what they're doing. But I know I've been creepy like that. Don't worry about me. When I got my first 100 I think 100 to 300. Yeah, that's what I was doing. Walking the neighborhood, seeing what's going on. Yeah, you're looking at me like, no. No, I was shooting birds. I was shooting birds, officer.
Oh, okay.
No, I was like 14 at the time.
Okay.
I was just walking around.
Okay,
I'm like,
I can look. You're 14.
So,
not as a grown man.
I mean, you can get some interesting stuff, especially downtown. Like one time I was shooting and I found this dude leaves his rifle in his window. Really strange. If you look, seriously, if you walk down Main Street, and it's right above, it's like right in between Mimi's place on Main and Main Street crossing. There's like buildings, like a second floor, third floor, and there's a rifle.
Man, this is Texas.
No,
this is a right to carry.
I made the horrible joke during the plaque reveal. Right, it happened right there, and I'm like, man, isn't the parade gonna be going right through here? I feel a little bit.
He's sending subliminal messages.
And I was like, I feel like there's gonna be a JFK situation going on.
All he needs is a photo of a Rottweiler next to his gun.
Yeah. No, okay, so we're getting off track. Definitely getting off track. We're going to do a scenario wrap-up. If you guys didn't know, for the past 5 weeks, we've been talking about wedding photography, the different angles. We know we did some about, a couple of them were personal things, like how to handle a situation under pressure, how to, handle a bride, handle an irate.
Careful about handling the bride.
Yeah, that's the most important, because always ask half up front. Always ask up front a deposit, so you can just get up and leave.
That's right.
And then we also talked about, like, my favorite scenario was our second scenario. The first one was the time changed, and the bride was running late, so you lost all your beautiful sun, and now you're dealing with nighttime photography, which you were not scheduled for. Like, you were told this was going to happen at 3 o'clock. Turns out the bride didn't want to marry the guy for 4 hours, and then she turns her mind around and said, yeah, I do want to marry the guy. And so what do you do? And like that really, it's kind of the fun part of photography looking back. Of course, during it, you're freaking out because you're like, oh, and then like, of course, in your personal scenario, you blew fuses, or you just flipped the fuse box. You didn't blow anything, I don't think.
Just trip the fuses. Just
trip the fuses.
Two more lights just tripped everything and blew everything
out. And that's just. I bet they were. Did the bride ever find out about that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think she
was in blood rage, so she couldn't see straight or hear anything. Right. She was all right. That's funny. But no, I think, and if you don't know what we're talking about with scenarios, what Tom and I are going to be doing is we announce a scenario, and we basically give you, the listener, a week prior to come up with how would you react to it. We want to hear your thoughts, so you can just email me at dick@OurLoneStar.com or go to our Facebook page, Aperture and Shutter Speed, or Our Lone Star, and you can respond to those scenarios that we're going to start posting for next month. But yeah, so out of all the scenarios, what was your favorite, Tom?
Well, I guess none of them are my favorite. I would never want to live through that again.
Really? You don't like? I live for those moments.
I would never want. I don't even think I want to see those people again.
Well, especially if you have you got a camera. You start taking pictures of these people who are pissed off. Those are beautiful pictures. I have this collection. It's called Hate. And it's just these people.
You told him about taking photos of your sister and using it as blackmailing her.
Yeah.
She's like
stake out,
doing all these signs with her hands to her brother.
People don't realize how powerful photos are.
Yeah, say a lot of words. There's a lot of words unspoken.
Yeah. Well, actually, one of my favorite things was when Photoshop first came around, when it was part of Macromedia. I think it was Macromedia. That was the company that started all that good stuff, the fireworks and all that. Yeah. And you could do some really cool stuff with the photos, like take people out. So I remember doing that with some of our school pictures, like our class pictures, and I took out some people, and it was like, where am I?
You like blew them up?
I just took them out. They're just not there anymore. And it freaked some people out because they're like, I was there. I was there.
In the digital era, you can now have fireworks display in your photo and just buy... this is for film, of course. Just buy
Oh, you can do some weird stuff.
By that generator, and you can just have fireworks right there as they're kissing the bride, and just boom. And you can have fireworks coming out of the groom's mouth if you want, or out his eyes.
You can explode them.
You can have
That's video though.
Fire. You can have them blow up, and
Well, that's what's so neat about photography, because a lot of people don't realize pretty much 100% of all photography you see is not the true photo. It really isn't. It's been retouched. And
weren't you telling me about some woman who they extended her legs, and she's now suing them, or all upset because they made her look like she's 4 inches or 5 inches taller, which when she goes on an interview, it's like, oh, we thought you were gonna hit your head on the ceiling when you walked in, but
what's great
that's
about
not even
that,
you.
and she's probably not gonna win because she signed a contract. Those photos, whose rights those photos belong to.
Well, she's lost.
So like we said, because we had that was one of our other scenarios, was about having a contract, how to set it right and be able to be clear with the client. This is how it's going to go. This, and you have to follow it, because I know, like when you said you were doing, and they invited the aunt, to take photos with you, and you're like, hey, you had the liberty just to leave and take the deposit.
That's what I should have done. I should never tolerated that. And I tell you guys, if you walk on the scene and you see other people's equipment like soft boxes, or they've set up a muslin and it's obvious there's a photographer there who's a professional, what you need to do is say, unless you're just so strapped and you just have to do it financially, that is, look, you know what our contract says, and I would take that contract to every job too, so you can pull it out and say it's states specifically that you're the exclusive photographer, and under no circumstances is there to be even another individual who is just doing on an amateur level. Now, I'm real flexible with that, because there's people who are going to have their phones and they're going to do something that you don't know. You can't watch everyone, but when it's a professional, and then you should just take advantage of your deposit. That's why you want to get at least half, so $1,000 in your pocket, and say, you know where I live if you want to do something, but here it is in black and white, and if it goes any further, who's going to win, and you're going to be on the winning side of it.
The contracts are
because you're going to run into a lot of headaches after it, where you're going to say, well, why are y'all doing this? We had an agreement, and phone calls and bitterness and frustration, and then one thing leads to another, and just nip it in the bud, get out of there, and it's done, and go home.
Exactly.
Yeah. Eat a bagel.
Yeah. We might have. Oh, she's gone today. Dang it, she left at 3.
Preferably one with everything on it. I like it with everything.
Oh yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
Big difference.
A lot of garlic.
There.
Need garlic.
Yeah, there's a photography bagel right there for you.
That's it.
But yeah, so those are our scenarios we covered. We're gonna have more scenarios coming up next month. We want you guys to, like I said, go on our Facebook, email us, dick@irlonestar.com, and just make sure to follow us on Facebook with our scenarios. We'll let people know. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got great stuff coming up next. I think the next thing we're going to talk about is what to do with all these photos you took.
And what about Ansel? You didn't say anything about Ansel.
We had special. We're going to.
Okay, you're going to bring him back.
Plenty of talk.
I like.
I think we're going to see him again.
He's a cool dude.
And
he's talking about possibly helping us starting a photography club.
No, that's you just putting words in his mouth. But hey, Ansel, if you're listening, call in. I want to talk to you about starting a photography club. Right? No. But yeah, you're listening to Lone Star Internet Radio with Aperture and Shutter Speed. We'll be right back with what to do with your photos that you've taken at the wedding. All right? What do? You don't delete them.
Someone is waiting just for you.
The East Texas Dream Center, conveniently located at 301 South 1st Street, Conroe, Texas 77301, relies solely upon the generosity of those who are led to contribute. We are a Christian organization that houses women and children who are trying to get their lives back after being homeless, abused, or addicted. Your financial contributions are tax deductible. We are recognized by the IRS as a tax-exempt organization under Section 501c3. With faith, hope, education, and a lot of love, we seek to lead individuals towards self-sufficiency so they can become contributing members of society. Your generous gift will help women and children in our community. Please visit our website to find ways to donate or volunteer. Our website is www.easttexasdreamcenter.org. Again, the website is www.easttexasdreamcenter.org. A telephone number where you can reach us is 281-601-6800. Thank you and have a blessed day.
Hello, I'm Bonita DeRosa, Animal Control Officer for the City of Willis. We invite you to tune in to Lone Star Internet Radio every first and third Thursday of the month at 11 a.m. for the Willis Hour. On the first Thursday of the month, the Willis Hour will be covering upcoming events and news about the city. Join in the conversation with your city officials and other leaders in the community. On the third, we will be doing a recap of the last City Council meeting. The mission of the City of Willis is to provide high-quality services, accountability, and professional commitment to our citizens. We pledge to provide those who live, work, and visit our city an effective government that is open and responsive to the needs and values of the community. Again, we invite you to tune in on Lone Star Internet Radio every first and third Thursday of the month at 11 for the Willis Hour.
Painted pony on the spinning wheel.
Yeah, guitar solo, yeah. That's what's up on Aperture and Shutter Speed. Welcome back.
You're listening to Aperture and Shutter Speed with your host Tom Moore of TR Moore Photos and with
Dick Schistler of IRLoneStar.com. That was Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Spinning Wheel.
Oh, you got that chest voice going.
Oh yeah. We're back with more
Hello,
stuff
can you
about
go?
photography and film for Montgomery County. We're having a good time. We're wrapping up this month of weddings and love and all that other bull crap that's horrible and just, you know.
I thought this was an uplifting show.
Not today.
In darkness.
Not today, but no, it's a good time. Like I said, I think the most important thing I can't reiterate is enough is it's an opportunity for you as a photographer to have fun because people are already loose, so they're not going to be bothered. I mean, pretty much everyone that goes to a wedding expects to have a picture taken of them.
And you'll have way more fun if you're not in litigation. So make sure you have a contract.
Well, yeah, that's if you're shooting it. But I'm talking if you're just some guy that likes to carry his camera around. Perfect opportunity. Yeah. And it's always courteous to ask if you can do it. But I mean, I think if you're and you can even offer to give them their photos. I mean, I know I did that. I know some of the photos that people I've taken for fun, they've used them because they like them. And I was told that me personally, I seem to get the more personal photos instead of the other photographer.
Your gift. That's your gift.
It's just, yeah, like I can get into people's nose hairs, getting them picking it, getting them eating food. I'm talking about the real stuff, people. These aren't models you're taking a picture
grunge.
of. I'm into the underground stuff.
Into grunge.
You got this person itching their elbow. That's real life. this yeah.
Dandruff on their shoulder.
Yeah, and there's sweat everywhere.
Right.
Everyone's dancing horribly.
Right.
This guy's grabbing some girl's butt inappropriately. I got it, man. I'm just talking about
witness protection plan.
Yeah, no, people are. I'm telling you, I've been attacked. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, that's exciting. Let's hear about that.
No, I've never been attacked.
That's going to be a next segment.
I've had like, you took a picture of my girlfriend, man. I'm like, what? There's kind of a lot of people here, man. It's not just you and her.
She's not that cute anyway, dude.
No.
Put it down.
No, I definitely got in trouble.
Well, that means you're doing your job.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, not at a wedding, so we can't really talk about it. But yeah, so we're gonna be talking about what to do after the photos, and okay, Tom, what do? You go and you shoot 10,000 photos of this wedding. What do you do with those? How do you go through it? Because you know at least 60% of them you're gonna delete
easily
because you left your lens cap on.
Oh,
amateur. You don't listen to the promo to Aperture and Shutter Speed.
You know what? I think I'm gonna just cut a hole in the middle of that cover. That way,
so it just reminds you, like you're picking things like, why is it all blurry?
Right. No, really. The most I've ever shot is about 7,500 photos in a night. But that was actually a rodeo where I'm shooting 8 frames a second.
Yeah.
So you usually average about 12 to 1,500 photos and end up keeping about 300. And you're going to have to sift through all 1,500 photos or 1,200.
Ooh, yeah. Plan to sit down for a while.
And that's a bunch of photos. And then you're going to want to, earmark or just put a check mark by the ones you want. And what I do with...
what do you use?
With
Come on, no, you got to take me step by step.
I'm using Aperture.
Tell me step by step. You have your compact flash card or you have your SD card, and then you put it in what? You put it in a computer?
Well,
Oh,
I
I
stick it
think-
in the side of my computer.
Hey, I think we missed a caller. I missed a caller. I'm sorry. If you're calling in, call in again. I missed it. I was into myself. I'm sorry, caller. Call in again. I don't know what your name was, but
We want you back.
we want you back. So you're getting the compact flash. Just tell me what you do.
Okay, it dumps everything on there,
you-
and then I click on it. You have an option of clicking all the photos or none of the photos, and I just go by and put them all in the thumbnail, so there's like 50 at a time, and just look at every photo and just click on the ones I want. That's my first generation. I'll go through it once, and then I start over again at the top, and I look through it again because you're always going to miss something. So you're going to pick up maybe 4 or 5 more, or 10, maybe 20. And I go back up to the top again, and I do the same thing. So I go through about 3 times. I get 300 out of 1,200 to 1,500. And then from the 300, well, then I'll load those. And then everything, I put all the photos on an external hard drive. And I can just put it all on a CD just to, unless, there's so many, it takes 4 CDs. Or a zip drive is more preferable, and work at it that way. And after you've got 300, then you're going to start going through those and finding the best of 300 and get 50 out of
So how long does that
300.
process take you?
Oh, it's hours, and that's why people don't realize, how much time's involved. So out of that 300, a bunch are going to be cut, and those 300 are going to be the ones you're going to put on a disc for your customer. If they want all of them, they can have all of them.
Well, yeah, there's different ways. I know as a professional, there's so many different ways to distribute your photos. You can give them all to them. You can put them on a website for them to view, Facebook, or there's, as a professional photographer, what do you usually just depends on the client to client?
Yeah, I've just gotten away from doing any printing at all because it's such a headache, and I seldom get what I want when I send them off. And so I end up having to have them redone and redone. So it's another good way to lower the price of your services, to say, look, I'm going to give you the name of a group like Black River, and they do a great job. They have all kinds of options. They do have albums, and albums start at about $230.
Well, they're not paying for this time, so it was a joke. Sorry to ruin
Well,
your
they're not paying for it is right, because I'm giving them a break. And so instead of charging them $700-800 for an album, they can get it done for $230, but they can spend their 15-18 hours of putting that puppy together, and they can do it at their leisure, 6 months after the wedding or a year after the wedding.
Yeah.
Provided they don't lose their disc.
So actually, I wanted to ask you that question. So say you did my wedding, and a year later, I get a divorce. Not a divorce, never mind. Let's say we have a typhoon or a hurricane comes through my house.
Your house
and
burns down.
Boom, all my photos are gone. All the printed ones are gone. I didn't back it up. The typical new.
I hold on to photos for about a year.
So then you just dump them?
And then I dump them.
Okay. Do you tell your clients that?
I'll tell them yes. Yes, I'll tell them.
Like, hey, do you let them know before you dump them?
If they're real nice and they work with me and they weren't a headache.
Because that sounds like a repeatable business kind of thing. Like, hey, it's been a year. Just let's see how things are. Checking in. Just to let you know, we're cleaning house. We're dumping your photos.
You have any friends getting married? Your cousin?
Well, not just that. But like, if you want me to send them over anymore, you want to look at, still available.
It's a way of staying in touch.
Well, because one thing today, and I know a lot of people don't realize how cheap data is, though. Data storage is so inexpensive. And do you see that becoming a service that you offer with your photos? Like, imagine you saying, hey, I'm your photographer. Your photos are good forever with me. Like, I'll keep them forever.
Yeah, if you want that would be maybe a service.
Do you think that's a good...
Put it in a safe, have a
well, I know, there's like...
fireproof safe.
Yeah, you can have off-site backup. You can do cloud, like that's what a cloud backup basically is.
But there's cost involved in that.
Oh, yeah, but I think if you include that into your service...
It's a good
idea. Do you
idea.
think that's a good way to sell it? Because, you're looking at... Well, you said 7,000 photos, right?
Yeah, 7,500.
7,500, and we're gonna do some math here. Okay, so 7,500 times how many megabytes are your photos typically per photo? They're pretty large, aren't they?
Yeah, there's 5,700 by 3,400, and they're all shot in RAW.
So
they're big.
Now, why do you shoot in RAW?
Because you can do more with them. You can do more color.
So I was wondering, so you're looking at what, 80 megs of it shot, or?
Ooh, probably more than that.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? More than 10? Wow.
Yeah.
All right, so you're looking at 120 megs. I don't think there's no way they're 120 megs each, but I'm going with it.
You're talking about the total package, everything?
No, like each
Oh,
picture.
I'm sorry.
Each picture.
Oh, I thought, yeah.
What do you know? Let's see. Do you know? Top of your head? Because my camera, they range from like 1.5 megs to, I think like the most I ever gotten out of it was due to colors was like 4 megs, and that was like in RAW.
That's about right.
So, but that's like a 10-year-old camera. So I think my camera's like 8.2 megapixels. What yours is
22.
Like yeah. So you're probably
23, something like that.
So you might be double. You're looking at maybe 8 megs, 9 megs of photo. So let's do 10 just in case, right? Yeah. For the sake of the conversation. So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna do your 7,500 times 10, and so that's 750,000 times 10, because yeah, and then that's megabytes. So let's divide that by 1,000, because 1,000 megabytes is a gig. So that's 75 gigs right there. Whew. Now you're looking at 75 gigs per photo shoot. And that's unedited, because I would say, like I said, 60% are unusable. Like there's no point of backing it up. So you're looking at something that you can. It's not even that big. It doesn't. It's not going to be 775 gigs. You're probably going to be looking at 35 gigs, 40 gigs of photos. So let's go to Google Drive. I'm just doing this. I'm just giving people an idea, because it's really important to back up your stuff.
Yeah, it is.
We're doing a little impromptu, because this is actually connecting to what we're talking about, what to do with your photos after, and it's always important to have an offsite backup. And the way Google Drive and all that stuff, like there's SkyDrive, I guess they changed their name. It's Microsoft. Probably the biggest one is probably Dropbox. Let's do Dropbox, because that's where they're one of the first companies to do it, and they have 2 different types. They have business accounts, and then they have, whatever account, personal account. Let's see, learn, because I mean, to me, it's so inexpensive. Man, why? You think they would be like our rates, But no, they're not. Let's see if I can just do /rates. Let's see if that works. Nope. Man, these people, they don't want me to buy their stuff. Pricing. It's at the bottom in this one little letter. I mean, come on. So they have 2 gigs for free, and then basically for Pro, it's 100 gigs, $10 a month. So you're looking at, you can probably get more. You can probably keep upgrading it, because I can go to 500 gigs for $50 a month or $500 a year. 500 gigs. So I bet there's cheaper options than that, because you can also compress it when you send it up to the cloud. So you're looking at, if you're doing a client and you're just looking at the way this is working, you're looking at spending $10 a month on this client for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, and I've had issues with
not
Dropbox.
even 10, but not even now. Well, I'm just using it as a pricing, because you're not even looking at $10. You're looking at $5 a month. So yeah, you're looking at. I mean, that's kind of worth it, don't you think?
Yeah, I've had issues with Dropbox.
That's $60 a year.
Yeah, I've sent 20 photos over to a client, and it takes almost 2 hours.
Oh, well, no, that's Dropbox. I'm just saying, like, how much is a gig on the cloud?
Right.
That's what we're trying to determine. We're not trying to talk about Dropbox. I was just using Dropbox as a name.
Right.
I don't use Dropbox. I use basically I use Google Drive, because they give you 15 gigs for free.
Yeah.
So, and that's better than 2 at Dropbox. Sure. And my brother personally uses SkyDrive. SkyDrive's really good. I like SkyDrive. And then there's also, like, Adobe has Create. There's so many different types of them. It's kind of crazy. But then what you're looking at right there, so the most important part, what we were just talking about, is you're looking at 7,500 photos is roughly around 75 gigs. 75 gigs. And then this is where it gets real interesting. So if you want to
how many gigs is it going to take to make a terabyte?
It takes 1,000 gigs.
Yeah.
So that's the next thing, because we're going to be doing on-site backups. So if you're running a server, I know people run servers, and I want to go. Usually my go-to place is Micro Center in Houston. That they do like warehouse sales for computer components, and then also Fry's is a really good great place. But for some reason, Fry's doesn't put their stuff online. Like oh, you can go here, you can pick it up here. They don't give you a price sometimes. So I'm on Micro Center. We're looking for hard drives. We're gonna build ourselves a little server, and we're gonna figure out how much a terabyte is. Right, that's what we're trying to figure out because that's important.
It's a lot of data.
Oh yeah, so you're looking at 1 terabyte. $60. $60 for a terabyte.
Is that monthly or yearly?
No, this is just for the hard drive.
Oh,
so you can back it. I'm not talking about you. We're
That's
talking
a good
about
deal.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be $200.
No,
I'll pay
no.
$200 for my terabyte.
So you're looking at that. So you're looking. Let's see, if its average client is 75 gigs, right? So what you do is a terabyte is 1,000 gigs. Divided by 75, you're looking at 13 clients for $60.
That's not bad. But that's shooting 7,500. That's really
that's
like
breaking the bank.
That's like 5 weddings, really.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
That's not that many, but that's the way you got. That's why I would look at it, and I'm glad the listeners are here going like, why are they keep rambling? We need to go to break. But no, we didn't even get to our thing. We'll get back to it. We're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna continue talking about it because this is important. You're backing up your stuff. And especially as a professional, you got to be able. I mean, I think it's a cool saying I have your photos forever. And if you tell, people, because people always forget, they lose stuff.
Sure they do.
Well, I mean, yeah. So we'll be right back here on Aperture and Shutter Speed on Lone Star Internet Radio with me, Dick Schisler,
and Tom Moore, TR More Photos.com.
It's a crying sin. Painted pony, let the spinning wheel spin. You got no money.
Income tax time is here. If you earned less than $52,000 in 2013, Montgomery County United Way in Entergy, Texas, want you to know how to get your taxes prepared absolutely free. Beginning February 1st, the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, known as VITA, will provide professionally trained volunteers to
Let's go to Lukenbach, Texas.
Tired of Waylon, Willie, and the boys? Join me, Gordon Lockhart, for Beethoven, Bach, and the Boys. Every Saturday from 8 to midnight on Lone Star Classical Music After Dark. Symphonies, concertos, and sonatas by composers such as Mozart, Tchaikovsky, and Bernstein. That's Lone Star Classical Music After Dark. Every Saturday from 8 to midnight on irlonestar.com.
You're listening to Aperture and Shutter Speed with your host Tom Moore of TR More Photos and Mr. Dick Schisler.
Yes, and we have a special caller on the line.
Yes.
The one and sexy only. Ansel, are you there?
Hey.
Hey,
how's
man.
It going?
How's it going, man? It's good for you to call in. Hopefully you've been enjoying our little banter. We're getting our hearts out on the table. We're talking about cloud storage.
Yeah, and we were also volunteering your services without you knowing it.
Yeah, we were.
How do you like that? We want you to.
I heard that.
We want you to start an actual photography.
Don't.
No.
We'll talk about this later.
Okay.
Well, because next month we're going to be doing. We can talk about it now. It's our last segment. We're going to be doing portrait photography, and we're going to talk about different ideas, and we're going to challenge the listeners for the monthly deal of portrait photography. And then, so what do you think about that? And you be a judge. You're going to be a judge.
Oh, I like it.
Actually, I want you to. This is my idea exclusively. Start a photography club.
We are a photography club, though. That's what I'm trying
to. And bring in photographers. So
we are a photography club.
We're
groupies. We just have a radio show. Our club has a radio show.
We'll have a clique.
That's what we're looking at. Our club has a radio show.
But we won't be snobs.
I'm going to be snobs.
Be open end. We won't be artistic snobs.
Well, because we're going to have at least one photo competition of nose picking, right?
Oh, Lord. Yeah, we're going to have to do that.
Well, because we were talking about stakeouts.
You have to have the biggest nose.
We had to apply our training of steak. Hey, Hansel, how do you feel about stakeouts?
I think it was a good idea. I was
Yeah,
listening.
I mean that's important. That's a dynamic to photography a lot of people don't talk about.
It was, and it was interesting. I was reading something today. They were talking about this guy was doing an article about street photography, kind of stakes out, but where they just kind of stand in one spot for a long time, in an interesting location, kind of just waiting for something to happen. That's kind of a stakeout right there.
Yeah, see, people, it's all about perspective.
Watching the world go by.
It's like, oh, I'm not stalking you. I'm just waiting for the right shot. That's what, right, officer? No, but no, yeah. So I think that'd be good. Portrait photography is our next theme. So we're gonna be bringing scenarios, and hopefully we'll be bringing models around.
Yeah,
that's our goal.
Have you called a model yet?
Yeah, we got in touch. So we're gonna get some agencies. So hopefully something's moving, and we're gonna get them towards the end of the month.
Good deal.
So we have a couple weeks, so we get them. So I want Ansel to be here for that because I know Ansel's really interested in those models, especially the male ones. So
I think you got it all wrong, brother.
I'm just having a good time here. But yeah, so I think portrait photography, that's what we're doing. And one thing I'm gonna bring is kind of like the easy to do portrait in the house. What kind of tools you can use from Home Depot. And Tom, of course, being a professional, he can talk about all his cool equipment, all the soft boxes, all that. It's Mr. Cool. And but I'm going to be talking about, you just need a light with a reflector on it. Well, you can get a reflector from your bed sheets, and then you can put foil and all this good stuff, and
you can go down to Lowe's and buy some lights that contractors use and light up your family and do your own portraits for pennies, and you don't have to go spend $300 on light box.
You ever worked with lighting, Ansel?
Not too much. I'm actually really bad at it, so I could use a lesson.
He can learn. Yeah, he can learn from you, Tom.
Yeah,
he can learn something. Yeah,
we just bring in a muzzle and you can do it here. We can go to my studio and do it. Whatever. It's easier to come here because it's all here.
Yeah, we should do a remote at Tom's studio.
No, what we should do?
Yeah, party at Tom's first club meeting. Woo!
What we need to do is I'm gonna call Jim Winkler. He's got a 90-foot yacht. And we're going to do a photo shoot on this 90-foot yacht.
That's when we invite the models.
That's it.
So we're like, yeah, this is our yacht. We're a photography club. We're really cool.
I'm telling you. That's what we're going to do.
Angel's digging it.
I think he'll let us do it. He's a really cool guy. He's a very nice person.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. You ought to call him and put him on the air right now.
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
I'm enjoying this moment.
Don't do that.
I'm enjoying this moment. But yeah, we're doing portrait photography, so
that's going to be my goal is we do a show from a 90-foot yacht.
We got to conclude our last time. We didn't talk about what programs we use. We're running out of time.
So stop the clock.
Real quick, I use Bridge and Lightroom. What do you use, Ansel, to organize your photos?
I use Lightroom.
Okay.
Yeah.
I still don't.
I like Lightroom a lot.
I was telling Tom I still haven't been
too lightweight.
I haven't been converted over yet where I feel the necessity to use those programs because I'm still like, I can just copy and paste it from my compact flash and I'm good, and I'll just view it the old-fashioned way. Like what benefit does Lightroom bring to you besides like the auto backup? Because that was the only thing I could get with it. You can set up an auto backup.
I don't know. I just like the editing, the whole editing layout of everything. As soon as I pop my SD cards in, I just go and import them, and everything's right there, and everything's in your catalog, your whole collection. So I really like using Lightroom. I primarily just that's the only software that I use right now.
So you don't even use Photoshop? You don't even use Photoshop?
No. I just use Lightroom.
Too much work.
So it's that advanced? I didn't know it gotten to that point.
Lightroom's really, really good.
Oh, cool. I pulled it up. I'm looking at it right now. But Lightroom 5, but there's some Lightroom 6. I don't know. But okay, so now I might give this a try. That's gonna be my goal for our portrait photography month. Is I'm gonna use Lightroom, and I'll report back how I've grown into a man like Ansel and use Lightroom.
I thought I was the man in the room.
Well, you use Aperture. I bought the first.
That's a
version.
man's
I bought
software.
the first version of Aperture when it first came out. I was in line. I was like, give it to me. And then it wasn't that great. So, no, I'm just kidding. It was okay.
You've been depressed ever since.
It was good. Actually, the only thing I hated about it is I backed it up Right, but they have like their own. Apple has their own backup, whatever. Right. I back up my photos, and then something happened to my computer where it got corrupted. And I was like, oh, I backed it up with Aperture, and it didn't work. I couldn't get it to work.
Oops.
So
it happens. That's why you need an external hard drive.
Yeah.
Ooh,
do you have an external hard drive, Ansel? Tell me about it.
I do. It's an old one. It's like a 500 gig one. It was pretty snazzy like 6 years ago. But I use it every now and then to back up my stuff.
Every now and then?
So, every now and then. Whenever it's been like 6 months, I'm like, I need to back up some stuff.
You should do it
every hard drive.
All the time.
All the time.
That.
Do you have any cloud storage?
I use Drive, but mostly when I use Drive, I just use it for my scan, because the scanner I have to scan my film is on a different computer, so I'll just scan it in on that computer and then upload them onto the Drive and then go download them on my computer. So
that's pretty smart.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Ansel, who is going to start a photography.
We are the photography club. It's called.
But we need more people.
So,
we need 200 photographers.
We need 200 photographers.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll see it.
150.
Well, no. The real question is this is what we'll do. How many people can fit on the yacht? That's how many people we can have in our club.
80.
Yeah, we can have.
It's 80 people.
No, it's 40. Because we'll bring 40 models.
Okay.
You gotta be thinking ahead here.
6'4".
This is so ridiculous. But yeah, Ansel, thank you so much for calling in. We're gonna have to go. It's getting 4 o'clock.
We only have 3 minutes left. This went by really fast.
Yeah, he's just down the road too. But we'll be in touch, man. We'll be in touch, and we'll. We're in a club. We're practically a club. Let's be real.
Groupie.
And. But yeah, so be thinking about, listeners, think about portrait photography. If you have any questions, send them in. Like us on Facebook, all that good stuff. And that's going to be our main focus. So our scenarios, our ideas, our product reviews, all that kind of stuff is going to go over portrait photography. Does that sound good? Yeah,
cool.
Go team. Well, Angel, thanks for calling in, man. And hopefully we'll talk to you soon, okay?
All right. You guys take it easy.
You too. Bye. I feel like we're picking on him.
Oh, well. He's a big boy. He's mature. He can handle it.
He's in a club.
Yeah.
You can't touch a man that's in a club. You can't touch a man that's in a club.
Club in the tub.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
But yeah, you're listening to Lone Star Internet Radio. This is Aperture and Shutter Speed. I think everyone it was a good show. Wouldn't
pretty
you say?
Good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Except for your part.
My parts are great. What are you talking about? He just keeps talking. But yeah, we're Aperture and Shutter Speed. We're here every Wednesday at 3 o'clock with me, Dick Schishler, and
Tom Moore, trmorephotos.com.
Montgomery Counties film and photography.
Film and photography.
We'll see you next week, Wednesday.
Hey everyone, this is Tina, your host from Retro Saturdays. I wanted to invite you to visit the Lone Star Studios here in downtown Conroe, Texas. We're all volunteers here, and we need your help in serving the Montgomery County area. Radio media is a fun field to be in. Lone Star Internet Radio serves Montgomery County with news, current events, local programming, and of course, music. If you are interested in volunteering and sharing your talents in media, go to irlonestar.com and let us hear from you. Lone Star Internet Radio, serving Montgomery County from the heart of downtown Conroe.